Story 1 of Stories of Ships and the Sea. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by William Tomcho. Stories of Ships and the Sea by Jack London. Story 1. Chris Farrington, Able Seaman. If you vas in der cold country ships, a little shaver like you would be only der boy, und you would wait on der table seaman, und when der able seaman sing out, "Boy, der water jug," you would jump quick, like a shot, und bring der water jug, und when der able seaman sing out, "Boy, my boots," you would get their boots, und you would be politeful und say, "Yes, sir," und "No, sir." But you be in der American ship, and you think you are so good as der able seaman. Chris, mine boy, I have been a sailorman for 22 years, und do you think you are so good as me? I was a sailorman before you was born, and I not und reef und splice when you play mit top strings und fly kites. But you are unfair, Emil, cried Chris Farrington, his sensitive face flushed and hurt. He was a slender though strongly built young fellow of 17, with Yankee ancestry writ large all over him. "There you go once again!" the Swedish sailor exploded. "My name is Mr. Johansson, und a kid of a boy like you call me Emil. It vas insulting, und comes because of der American ship." "But you call me Chris," the boy expostulated reproachfully. "But you vas a boy." "Who does a man's work," Chris retorted, "and because I do a man's work I have as much right to call you by your first name as you me. We are all equals in this fo'castle, and you know it. When we signed for the voyage in San Francisco we signed as sailors on the Sophie Sutherland, and there was no difference made with any of us. Haven't I always done my work? Did I ever shirk? Did you or any other man ever have to take a wheel for me, or a lookout, or go aloft?" "Chris is right," interrupted a young English sailor. "No man has had to do a tap of his work yet. He signed as good as any of us, and he's shown himself as good." "Better," broke in a Nova Scotia man, "better than some of us. When we struck the sealing grounds he turned out to be next to the best boat steerer aboard. Only French Louis, who'd been at it for years, could beat him. I'm only a boat puller, and you're only a boat puller too, Emil Johansson, for all your 22 years at sea. Why don't you become a boat steerer?" "Too clumsy," laughed the Englishman, "and too slow." "Little that counts one way or the other," joined in Dane Jurgensen, coming to the aid of his Scandinavian brother. "Emil is a man grown and an able seaman. The boy is neither." And so the argument raged back and forth, the Swedes, Norwegians, and Danes, because of race kinship, taking the part of Johansson, and the English, Canadians, and Americans taking the part of Chris. From an unprejudiced point of view the right was on the side of Chris. As he had truly said, he did a man's work, and the same work that any of them did. But they were prejudiced, and badly so, and out of the words which passed rose a standard quarrel which divided the forecastle into two parties. The Sophie Sutherland was a seal hunter, registered out of San Francisco, and engaged in hunting the furry sea animals along the Japanese coast north to Bering Sea. The other vessels were two-masted schooners, but she was a three-master and the largest in the fleet. In fact, she was a full-rigged, three-topmast schooner, newly built. Although Chris Farrington knew that justice was with him, and that he performed all his work faithfully and well, many a time, in secret thought, he longed for some pressing emergency to arise whereby he could demonstrate to the Scandinavian seamen that he also was an able seaman. But one stormy night, by an accident for which he was in no wise accountable, in overhauling a spare anchor chain he had all the fingers of his left hand badly crushed, and his hopes were likewise crushed, for it was impossible for him to continue hunting with the boats, and he was forced to stay idly
Sample complete. Ready to continue?